Hi, I'm Dave Plasko, Managing Editor of New Jersey CPA Magazine. And if you're watching us now, then you've seen the November-December close-up article featuring NJS CPA Executive Director Ralph Albert Thomas discussing his thoughts on diversity in the accounting profession. We're going to switch gears now and talk to Ralph about some other issues impacting CPAs in the year to come. So Ralph, as we're about to ring down the curtain on 2012, what are some of the key issues that are going to impact CPAs in 2013?
Well, certainly the tax area is going to be one of the things that our members will be focused on, particularly the tax extenders, the Bush tax extenders. 2 years ago, they were set to terminate, and as the new administration came in, they reinstated them. We're looking at the same scenario for as of December 31st, 2012. And so our members are going to be waiting anxiously to see what happens, whether Congress will take some action before the end of the calendar year or whether it will lapse over into next year. Okay. So that's going to be a big concern because they can't advise their clients because they don't know what's going to happen with the tax extenders. I think the other thing that will be important as we move into 2013 is the whole area of compliance and regulations. The Dodd-Frank Act we're still working with because everything hasn't been finalized there. The statutes that were memorialized in the Act, many of the regulations that underpin the statutes have not been developed. And so there's going to be work to be continued there. So we'll have to be on guard to watch out what happens there, to weigh in where we feel that maybe there's been an overreach by Congress in setting the regulations. I think too, the number of studies that were also encompassed in the Dodd-Frank Act causes pause too, because what happens there is when a study is completed, there's an opportunity to go back and tweak statutes or enhance them or add more control surrounding a statute. So we're always mindful of that to see what the implications can be on the accounting profession.
Any movement on IFRS?
IFRS, we were hoping to have a decision by the SEC the end of 2011, probably second quarter of 2012, and now the chief accountant and a number of other senior people within the SEC are leaving for other positions, and so the latest and greatest is still kind of in a holding pattern. Okay. I think there are a couple of issues that are holding the SEC back. Certainly, the cost for companies to convert to IFRS. In addition, the fact that IFRS, even though it's supposed to be a global standard, as you look at from country to country, there are little deviations, so that causes a pause as well. And then I think the other big issue out there is what happens with FASB if there's a movement and a mandate to use IFRS. What happens to the Financial Accounting Standards Board and all the work that they've done? So I think that's going to be something also for 2013 that we'll look at, because if the SEC does come out and mandates mandatory reporting under IFRS, then a lot of people will have to scramble to get up to speed, because right now they're all waiting for a decision to be made and haven't invested any time, and certainly haven't invested money in infrastructure, many companies.
So stay tuned on that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now it seems like there's no let up on the issues of mergers and acquisitions and succession planning as well.
Yes. Clearly, organic growth is not something that a strategy that firms or companies pursue today, at least accounting firms, because it's too time consuming, and you really want to try to hit the ground running. So most organizations are looking for strategic partners that to merge with a company that has a service or area of practice that they don't have, or one that will complement and enhance an existing practice area. So I think we will see the proverbial 500 become 250 in the next 3 to 5 years, very easily.
Okay. Now, in this whole stew that we just talked about, what role does the society play?
Well, the society can play a number of roles. One, certainly as the landscape changes, it's incumbent upon us to get information out to our members so that they're properly informed, they're up to speed of what the changes, what the effective dates are, and what implications they should be. Secondly, as an organization that provides continuing professional education, our next role in addition to making them aware of the changes, are looking to provide content in terms of courses that can help them get up to speed on the changes.
Okay.
So those are a couple roles that we will play. I think the other role that we play is, as change takes place, we want to make sure that the change that is being proposed is not onerous or an overreach by lawmakers and regulators, such that it impacts the way the CPAs do business. Granted, we always have to be mindful that the public's interest must be taken in, but there have been attempts or proposals that have been too far-reaching and have the proverbial unintended consequences that people didn't think about on the front end. So that's our job, to ask those questions, to look out into the future and say, what could be the potential unintended consequences?
Okay. And what are some other ways that society members can become more involved and more tethered to the society?
Well, certainly as the landscape changes and we're trying to advocate or push for some relief, we certainly would like to have our members weigh in when we reach out to them with legislative alerts. Secondly, our ability to be an advocate for the profession is contingent upon having the resources and support to make sure that we stay close to lawmakers, both on a statewide basis and also on a national basis. So we want to encourage our members to consider becoming a member of the PAC, our Political Action Committee. It's a bipartisan committee, but it helps us have a presence, have a connection with the key decision makers in Trenton. And on the national scene, we'd ask our members to consider participating in the AICPA PAC, because it's important too that we have a relationship or connection with members of our congressional delegation and those individuals that are on key committees within Congress or within the legislature here that have oversight over the profession.
Okay. Now, talk about, if you could, volunteerism and how members can become more active in interest groups. And
We obviously we have a lot of interest groups and a lot of committees. The first thing I would suggest to anybody who's interested in getting involved is to go to our website, www.njscpa.org, and go to, that's the homepage, and I'll bring you to the homepage, and you can see some of the committees and interest groups that we have. But more importantly, there's a volunteer profile form, and it gives a member the opportunity to decide what he or she is interested in pursuing. If they're interested in the test area, accounting and auditing, they can partake of our committees and interest groups in A&A. If they're interested in the tax area, anywhere from federal, international to state tax, they can become part of our tax groups. And the beauty of these groups now is that many of them, if not the vast majority of them, are virtual, so that individuals don't have to come to a slated meeting, but they can participate online through our Connect process, so an open forum process that we have. So that's a great way for members to stay connected and maximize their time. They don't have to incur travel time. They can participate virtually. They can go out and pull in information that has been disseminated to the group and weigh in and out however they see fit.
Okay. Well, great. Thanks, Ralph. That's some great information, and we're looking forward to a great 2013.
Well, I'm looking for a great one, and it will be great if it's real quiet for us.
Amen.